Welcome back, guys. Johnny Keck over at AMP Futures, and we're going to finally wrap up the chart trading section portion of our video tutorial series for MultiCharts.net, AMP exclusive platform free of charge. We've already covered how to place trades, how to modify trades, how to cancel trades, how to verify open positions, how to verify your average fill price, as well as accessing certain property menus within the chart trader panel. So this final segment, we're just going to go over a quick recap of going over some of the information within the chart trader properties section. So if I right click, for example, on the right side chart trader panel here, and as I mentioned earlier in the other video that I just did, you don't want to right click on the chart itself because that will give you the menu property section of the chart. You don't want to right click also in the right side section where it shows the entry and exit strategies because nothing will happen. You want to right click in the beige area on the right side panel. So you can see when I right click in that little beige area, it'll give you actual menu option, and then from here you can go to format chart trading. All right, so you have other options as well. You can switch to compact mode. I normally don't recommend it. It's because if you do that, you're not going to have access to the entry and exit strategies, as you can see there. So if I switch it back to full mode, you can see that it activates the entire panel. And you can disconnect your data feed if you like. You can edit your profile, just meaning if you're changing out user credentials, for example. The main stuff you're going to look for is the format chart trading. Sound alerts, if you place orders, you'll see audio alerts that will fire off if you place a trade or get filled. If you want to disable that, you can always uncheck the sound alert. And then trading performance report, we'll save that for a different segment. But for now, let's get right into format chart trading. All right, so from here, this is where you're going to be able to make general changes to how you want your chart trader panel to function. So for example, let's say when I get into a position, I'm just going to go and buy at the market here. You can see now there's a display there of a line that's green. So if you want to change that line, for example, to make it more noticeable, I can go to format chart trading, and I can click on connecting lines or active orders and positions, and I can go ahead and change those things accordingly. So if you see, for example, the position entry price, if you notice that line's a solid line, I can change that to perhaps a dotted line. That's actually for a long position or short position. So watch what happens when I change it for the long position. You see how that line becomes broken? So it's just really all personal preference on how you go in there and make changes. So what I would just recommend doing is just when you get in there, just make a few changes, see how it looks. If you like the look of it, then just keep it as is. If not, then just go ahead and change it back to the way it was. And then you can just kind of hit these drop-down menus and thicken up those weights. Weight just basically means if you notice this little line here, watch what happens when I thicken up the weight for the position entry price on the buy side. You can see that line becomes a lot thicker. So a lot of this stuff is more just personal preference and customizing the way that your chart trader is going to show your positions and orders. All right, so just go around and click on each one of these settings and be sure to change those settings accordingly. For example, if you don't have any interest in showing the open position at all on the chart, then you can disable it. I'm a fan of it, so I leave it disabled. I leave it enabled. Now, sometimes I don't like to show all the history of the trades. So these are all the trades that I did earlier. These are test trades. What happens is you're scalping the market. This can get very congested because there's going to be a lot of these confirmations on the charts. And what happens is it covers up the candles and just makes things a little disorganized. So if you want to uncheck show historical orders, you want to do that from the common settings tab, and that gets rid of those historical orders altogether. And then for the most part, the rest of it is just if you decide that you want to have historical orders shown, then you can go to historical orders tab and you can choose how you want the display to be. So if you, for example, if you don't want the visible labels, then you can go ahead and uncheck them, or you can change the colors. You can thicken up the fonts. You increase the weight size. So it's just going to morally change the display of how those historical orders are going to be displayed on the chart itself. Other than that, the main thing that I want to mention, if you want these changes to be applied for every chart that you make, then just make sure that after you make the change, hit use as default on the bottom of every tab, and therefore when you open a new chart and activate a chart trader panel, all these changes will be reverted or will be applied onto the new chart that you create. So that would be the best way to create a default state setting. If you make those changes, just hit use as default, and moving forward, those changes will be applied to any chart that you create. Other than that, guys, that is a final conclusion to the chart trader section of the video tutorials that we're doing for MultiCharts.net, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.